and Jenny. Roy is a courageous man. He said, look, we're going to do this. Punto basta. That's it. We're going to do this. Number 2, I'll put up the money. Number 3, I'm going to get serious people around me, and we're going to do it seriously, and we will not be stopped. And there were bumps in the road the size of boulders. There were some people who were doubting. They stick their finger in the side of the, well, they were doubtful, let's put it that way. And certainly, even among us, some of us said, well, maybe, but no, absolutely not. The mark of a real general is he said, we're going to win no matter what. Roy Niederhofer, like I said, he gets embarrassed when I mentioned the fact that he put up $1 million of his own dollars, American. And frankly, he's carried this thing. He had the good taste to get Michael where he is, to help Michael get this put together properly, and to round up a band of gypsies like me and a few others who can help this thing go its way. So I really hope you'll give a good, warm round of applause to Roy Niederhofer.
Being here on this, taking another important step to our final goal of bringing back the jewel of New York City arts, the New York City Opera. I have something very exciting to report, but I can't tell you exactly what it is. All I can say is that within 24 to 48 hours, I promise you will be the first to know. I have all your emails, don't worry. About an incredibly exciting development in our legal process, which, as you know, has taken 2 years. And all I can say is that New York City Opera is coming back. It's been a long road. Many of you I've seen before, I've met before, so many incredible people in this 2-year process since in October of 2013 at the last performance of Anna Nicole. I was the last person in that theater as the lights came up and the curtain came down and all that burned was the ghost light backstage. And I said to myself, if this is ever going to come back, it may be that I'm the only one that is going to make it come back. But it turned out I was wrong. 3 days later, I got a call from Michael Capasso. Now, Michael I've known for a long time. I knew him because for 35 years, he ran a beautiful, entrepreneurial, creative, innovative opera company called Many of you were at his performances. You might have read review after review, the Times World premieres. Every significant opera performer in New York City passed through the Capo on their way to stardom, just as through New York City Opera on their way to stardom even more internationally. So Michael called me up and said, Roy, we are bringing New York City Opera back. I want you to help me. We're going to come back to Lincoln Center. We're going to start with Tosca. We're going to have Hal Prince direct Candide. Don't tell anybody, that's coming too.
How exciting.
And we're going to do it for about a quarter of the fundraising requirement that City Opera had the previous year. And I said, Michael, if you can make that happen, we can do this together. And to my ecstatic surprise and amazement, because I've been in business a long time, I've heard a lot of people promise to do things and not come in exactly as they planned. Michael came in under budget and over-delivered more opera for less money. And as you can see, we're not kidding around. This is a very, very important artistic event for New York City and for the world to see this incredible production of Tosca once again for the first time in the Western Hemisphere ever. And since 1900, we're going to really understand what people fell in love with when they fell in love with Tosca. So Michael Capasso has delivered in every way that one could want from a general director, and I'm honored to be part of his team. Now, it took some other people too. It took incredible staff, Tache at the piano, who is our music coordinator, has been in my office every day preparing for this. We've had all sorts of people help our musical effort, our planning efforts, our development efforts. But the most important people in this room to make New York City Opera succeed are you. Perfect timing on this end. Ready? I got your next cue ready too. I want to say thank you, first of all, for being here tonight, for giving us your time, and for supporting this important event, which is our introduction to this production of Tosca. I'd like to thank you as well for those of you who've given over the course of the last 2 years. Many of you have supported our benefit with Placido and so many others at the Rose Theater in March of this year. And I know many of you have already bought tickets for our world premiere reopening of the Tosca and of New York City Opera in January 20th. And by the way, it's not just the 20th. We have 6 performances in 5 nights. So you get to see 2 casts. They're both great, so you should buy 2 nights, not just 1. And we have a full season from there. I also want to tell you that while we wanted to nod back towards City Opera's history, our second production is going to be a concert by an incredible contemporary American composer whose work was meant to be performed by Gotham Opera, but sadly that opera closed, so we are going to pick that up as our second musical event. And then what's coming later, I'll just drop you another hint. New York City is comprised of 30% of people who speak Spanish, not English. And we're the people's opera, that's what Marty called us. And it seems important to us to recognize that this important constituency, not just in New York City, but everywhere in this hemisphere, is a Spanish-speaking one. So one of our operas every year is going to be a Spanish language opera, and we have an incredible premiere coming, New York premiere of an opera from a book that you've all heard of. It's going to be fantastic. Our soprano is incredible, and that's all I can say. Sorry. And another one that we're talking about is doing Carmen in the parks in Spanish, bringing that to the people. So that's what the People's Opera is all about. So it's almost the end of the year. We are almost New York City Opera. But right now we are still called Echo Renaissance. What will happen if our plan is confirmed, with a quote around the if, will be that we merge into a reorganized New York City Opera, which will come out of bankruptcy. Along the way, we discovered millions and millions of dollars in bequests that have come to New York City Opera. So, contrary to where we started, we're actually going to start with a very, very strong cash position. We're not going anywhere. But we still need your help. And I'm going to ask all of you to try to do what you can at the end of the year to help make this Tosca happen and help New York City Opera sail off into its sunrise with full fuel in its engines and sails all, oh boy, help me out here, sails all, whatever sails do.
Full mast?
We did too much So, what we all love about opera, what I love about opera, what all of you love about opera is that it's timeless. Everyone has met a Carmen and, like me, fallen in love with her. You all heard that story last time. Everyone has met a frivolous character like a Tosca who lives for art and just is the most beautiful thing ever. And on the other hand, we all meet bad archetypes who also speak to us through opera, like Scarpia. And sadly, most women encounter a Scarpia at one point in their lives. And these characters from 200 years ago speak to us as though they were so real. They are timeless, they are truthful, but there is something that opera does that, to me, no other art form can do. These archetypes, these timeless, iconic features that characters have, that everyone can respond to, are presented in the most aesthetically beautiful way. that can be just breathtaking. It can create emotions in you that are, I think, unattainable in any other art form. And the only thing, I really don't know what to say to close, so I'm going to let somebody who's a lot more eloquent than I do to close it for me. I'm sure you'll recognize this, but I think this to me summarized why it's important that we do this. Why are we all here saving this 70-plus-year-old institution, bringing it back, and sailing onward for the next hundreds of years? When old age shall this generation waste, thou shalt remain amidst of other woven hours, a friend to man to whom thou sayest, beauty is truth, truth beauty. That is all ye know on earth and all you need to know. And now the man who is going to bring us truth and beauty and do it efficiently and with all of our help, Michael Capazzi. We got
I don't need to trip, it's him right now. I want to thank you all very, very much for coming. It's a delight to be here. Thank you to all of our board members, to Steve, and of course to Roy and Jenny, who are the people who, when I picked up the phone and said I have this idea, got behind this and brought us to where we are today. And so you can see this room is surrounded by great works of art by people already. The costumes, you can see side by side the original sketch by Hohenstein and the costume shop, which is in Budapest, that is recreating all of these costumes, is at work very, very quickly at this time. And this was just a small sample of what you can see. And you can see the sketches by Hohenstein of the scenery, which look remarkably like the places where Tosca is supposed to take place. There's a man I'm going to introduce to you who's going to just say a few words before we get on to what we're really here for, which is music. His name is John Farrell. John Farrell is a set designer. John Farrell is